All over the world, children are returning to schools right now, except for Gaza. Gaza's children have been subjected to a horror show that we have all sat back and watched helplessly. For almost 1 year, Israel has thrown the equivalent of over 3 Hiroshima bombs on the Gaza Strip. Every day, Israel is testing new AI and weapons on the children of Gaza while world governments support and aid it. Other than the few people in the world that have protested and stood up and said, "No, not in my name," Israel has been allowed and encouraged to do as it pleases by every country on earth, apart from Yemen. Some still call this genocide a war. Please understand that a war has 2 armies, 2 countries. Gaza is not a country. It is a strip of land. It has no army, it has no military, it has no fighter jets, no bombs, and no way of defending its children from the relentless bombing inflicted upon them. Gaza's children are being killed before our very eyes every day, and we can do nothing. If this was being done by any other country on earth, apart from Israel, who has special treatment, it would have been stopped. The UN has stood helplessly before this genocide in the first few months of the bombardment on Gaza, when the UN basically said it was unable to do anything to protect Gaza. It recently warned that if the war on Gaza is not stopped, 2 million people are at risk of being killed. Let me repeat that. 2 million human lives are being killed and we are unable to stop it. The UN is unable to stop it. The world is unable to stop it. Children in Gaza deserve and have a right to live without bombs raining down on them. Israel is not fighting Hamas. Israel is simply ethnic cleansing the Palestinian people for its own gains and to take over their land. That is its only goal. If Israel were fighting Hamas, why is it starving the Palestinian children to death? Is supplying baby milk and bread to starving children in Gaza a threat to the Israelis? Does it bolster Hamas to feed children in Gaza and not let them starve to death? If you believe this is a war, and if you believe this is a war between Hamas and Israel, then it's truly too late for you, and you are part of the problem. You are part of the reason that this has been allowed to continue. Many people say, if I was alive in World War II, I would have spoken up. But what is happening today is a Holocaust, and the world is not speaking up. It does not matter who is listening. What matters is you use your voice for the children that have been starved, killed, maimed, and tortured every day for nearly 1 year and counting. Let's take a look at what it's like to be a child in Gaza today. While other children around the world return to school, the children in Gaza have no schools to return to. Israel has bombed 90% of schools and every single university. That's 564 educational buildings. This is not an accident. You do not bomb 564 schools and universities by accident. The children and their future were the target. The children in Gaza and their future is still the target of the most vicious country on earth. 16,500 children have been killed in less than a year. 16,500 children have been killed. 16,500 children. This number does not include those who died of starvation or lack of medical care. This number only includes the children killed by airstrikes. The number of those who died of lack of food and medical care is much, much higher. The killing of children in Gaza is the fastest in history. For those children whose injuries do not kill them, their lives are worse than death itself. Reports show that 10 children a day lose their limbs in Gaza. There are now more children without limbs in Gaza than has ever been in any other conflict in history. 35,000 children have lost their limbs. 35,000 children in Gaza are now without an arm or a leg. 35,000 children. This horror is not due only to the airstrikes, but also to the blockade. Israel will not allow antiseptic or anesthetic into Gaza, nor antibiotics and necessary medical equipment. Therefore, anyone who is injured is forced to have their limbs cut off without anesthetic to stop infection from killing them. Let me say this again. In 2024, children in Gaza have to have their legs and arms cut off without anesthetic because Israel will not allow entry to medicine to prevent infections. Now tell me, who is Israel fighting against here? Hamas or the children? Just recently, Israel denied entry to a convoy carrying polio vaccines, putting 200,000 children's lives in danger. There is no logic to denying vaccines for children. There is no logic except to bring harm onto the children. More than 70 children are injured from the airstrikes every single day. Dr. Victoria Rose, who recently visited Gaza, said that 80% of those she treated were children. Children suffer in great pain from their injuries due to the lack of medical care. Now let's look at the West Bank, where there is no Hamas, and see how Israel treats Palestinian children there. 85 children have been killed in the West Bank. Many were shot directly in the head or torso. This war is not against Hamas, I say this again. It is against the children and the future of Gaza. It is about wiping out the Palestinian population to make way for a greater Israel. In the West Bank, where there is no Hamas, Israel cuts the water off to the Palestinians and has even made a law making it illegal for Palestinians to collect rainwater. Let me repeat that. If you are Palestinian and Israel has cut off the water supply, it is illegal for you to collect rainwater. If you can explain how this is connected to Hamas, then please go ahead. Israel is fighting the Palestinian people. They need all Palestinians out of Palestine so they can expand their Greater Israel plan. Israel is waging a war, a deliberate and targeted war on children. Please understand that children in Gaza and West Bank are not a casualty. They are the target. Children are the target. Please understand that Israel is not accidentally harming children, but deliberately and callously doing so. Israel deliberately cut off incubators for newborn babies in the hospitals, killing 710 newborn babies so far. This was a deliberate act. No other country on earth has targeted newborn babies and children in the way that Israel has. And if we allow them to continue to do this, they will set a precedent for the other countries around the world, leaving all children vulnerable to such evils. Finally, I would like to end by bringing attention to the missing children in Gaza and the West Bank. Reports indicate that 17,000 children in Gaza are missing. 4,000 are believed to be buried alive under the rubble. A report recently showed that Israel is kidnapping Palestinian children from Gaza, which is a war crime. Only mere days ago, an Israeli soldier took a photo of a Palestinian baby they had kidnapped from Gaza. Many children and adults in Gaza have shown up with their bodies cut and without organs. Do not rely on your governments or the governments of the world, nor on the UN, who has admitted helplessness. Use your voice. Speak up even when no one hears you. Protest even when it does not change anything. Speak, cry, scream for the children in Gaza, even if no one hears you. Because when this is all over and the horrors of this Holocaust are revealed, at least you will be able to say, I did not watch silently. Thank you.